Amidst the vast expanses of the savanna, herds of majestic animals roam. The scorching winds of Africa are definitely not meant for them. At first glance, it seems that they are completely indifferent to their surroundings and what is happening around them. These are antelope. Most often, this is how we envision these animals, large and strong with long horns. It creates an impression that they are serene and even a little lazy under the rays of the scorching equatorial sun. And suddenly, these peacefully grazing antelope take off and run with all their might, raising columns of impenetrable dust. They race many times faster than the blistering African wind, and it seems that no force can stop them. Perhaps many of us have seen precisely such antelope in the famous animated film The Lion King, about the brave and daring lion cub, Simba. Nevertheless, not everyone knows what antelope are like in their natural habitat, in the true wild nature. Therefore, this video is an attempt to get you better acquainted with these amazing animals. The place of antelope in the natural classification of the animal kingdom is mammals from the order Artiodactyla, specifically the family Bovidae, known as the even-toed ungulates. The origin of the name antelope can be traced back to ancient Greece, where the word antelopes carries the lexical meaning of horned animal. And indeed, it is with their horns akin to a unique crown that almost every species within this sizable group of animals are proudly adorned. It must be said that the scientific classification of antelopes is somewhat simplistic. Practically all even-toed ungulates that did not fit into other orders, families, or suborders of hoofed animals have been included here. Nonetheless, with complete confidence, it can be stated that there are approximately 100 species of antelope on the planet. The beautiful antelope can be encountered not only in the savannas of the African continent, although that is where their population is truly substantial, encompassing 71 different varieties. Antelope inhabit practically every corner. The open and forested expanses of Eurasia and both North and South America. No native species of antelope are found in Australia, but blackbucks have been introduced there. Explaining such a vast territorial distribution is quite easy. Antelope are herbivorous animals and can adapt well to any continental environment with sufficient vegetation. Of course, grassy plains are a true paradise for them. Firstly, they provide a reliable food source and the necessary space, especially since antelope herds can be quite numerous. However, some animals avoid plains and choose habitats in typical undergrowth or even extensive forested areas. Other antelope species have adapted well to deserts, both arid and relatively cool ones. Antelope thrive even in mountainous regions. It should be noted that the bravest among these animals have conquered the mountains. Mountain antelope are not intimidated by sheer cliffs and treacherous high-altitude ridges, and some species confidently select wetland habitats for themselves. However, the majority of antelope are still territorial animals. Most often, they gather in herds, the size of which is astonishing in terms of numbers, although sometimes a group may consist of a modest dozen or two individuals. The specific habitat, the size of the grazing area, and the season are all factors that significantly influence the size of the herd. However, some antelopes, such as duikers, are solitary animals and do not suffer from loneliness. When they feel like it, they can even live in pairs. However, impalas in this regard exhibit interesting behavior. The formation of separate impala groups occurs very delicately. The dominant male carefully selects 7 of the 10 most beautiful females in their prime, separates them from the main herd, and then guards and protects only them and their offspring. What can we say? It's a true harem in nature. Most antelope reach sexual maturity at around 1 year of age, with males maturing much slower compared to females. Pair formation occurs even later, often taking up to 4 years. It should be noted that the display of affection and courtship among antelope is purely seasonal. Breeding games typically begin about February to April, when the seasons of continental rains come to an end. It should be noted that every antelope species approaches family planning quite rationally and thoughtfully to ensure that the offspring are born at the beginning of the next rainy season when the grass is lush. The gestation period for the female ranges from 4 to 9 months, and the variation in duration is determined by the species. Typically, an antelope gives birth to a single calf, although there are cases where twins are born. The birth often takes place right on the grazing grounds, and the expectant mother may not even lift her head from the tasty and succulent grasses. However, some antelope species do separate themselves away from the herd during birth, seeking a secluded spot that provides at least some protection from predators. The young calves are highly vulnerable, and they constantly have to prove their ability to survive in the harsh conditions of the wild. That's exactly what the little ones try to do. For example, wildebeest calves can stand on their weak, trembling legs just a few minutes after birth, and within an hour or two, they frolic and kick around just like adults, showcasing their youthful strength. When antelope give birth, hungry predators are often lurking nearby, eagerly waiting for an opportunity to separate the young from the herd and feast on their tender meat after a successful hunt. However, antelope herds have measures in place to reduce such risks. Responsible females take on the role of caregivers in designated areas known as nurseries. These responsible females diligently watch over the calves, ensuring that their inexperience doesn't lead to any mishaps. Perhaps that's why kudu and chamois, for example, temporarily hide their young among bushes, rocks, and tall grass. It's truly an unparalleled survival strategy. The mother antelope returns to the herd after giving birth, but periodically visits the hiding place to nurse the newborn. It's worth mentioning that antelope milk has highly nutritious characteristics and contains essential substances for the calves, such as proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. After a while, when the young antelope grows stronger and gains strength, the herd easily accepts them into the family. They grow rapidly, having been born during the favorable season of abundant grass and possessing a strong appetite. Around 3 to 4 months later, the calves find themselves without the constant care of their doting mother and begin to graze independently and assert their right to life in the wild. Antelope are strikingly beautiful and incredibly graceful. Almost all members of this species have long and slender legs, a slim, elegant neck, and large slanted eyes with long eyelashes. And let's not forget their ears, which are always alert. The characteristic feature of adult males is, of course, their horns, which they use to defend themselves against predators and establish dominance within the herd. It's simple. The one with the bigger horns is the leader. The horns of most females, on the other hand, are different. They're short and much thinner, and some females don't have horns at all. The horns of most antelope typically grow and remain through their lives, unlike deer, for example, which shed their antlers annually. The horns of antelope are composed of keratin, a substance also found in our hair and nails. The shape of the horns depend exclusively on the species of the animal. 9 species of antelope, including kudu, bongo, nyala, and eland, boast amazing spiral-shaped horns on their heads. On the other hand, oryx antelope have elongated and slender horns. The wildebeest, perhaps, takes great pride in its curved and pointed horns. The impalas have very beautiful horns that resemble large crests. Interestingly, antelope that inhabit forested areas have learned to successfully hide their horns for safety reasons. They skillfully tilt their heads back and calmly rest their horns on their backs. That's it. Mission accomplished. The horns do not protrude from the bushes, indicating there's no one there. Some members of antelope species found in India have not just one, but 2 pairs of horns. This leads some researchers to speculate that these antelope represent more primitive bovids. However, all antelope, without exception, have hooves, the shape and size of which have been influenced by evolutionary adaptability to their habitat. For example, addax antelopes in the deserts of North Africa have wide hooves with a flat undersurface that help the animal to move across shifting sand dunes. Sitatunga antelopes, which primarily inhabit waterlogged and swampy areas, have truly long hooves, about 20 centimeters in length. They're almost like boots. Moreover, they're slightly splayed outwards to prevent the animal from slipping on wet and muddy surfaces. On the other hand, the hooves of klipspringers and dwarf antelope are small, rounded, and equipped with a rubber sole-like surface, which helps the animal maintain balance on rocky terrain. It's also important to note that antelope species vary in size. Animals that inhabit open spaces tend to be larger. On the other hand, the Nigerian red duiker, whose habitat is the dense forest, is very slender and waist-conscious, so to speak. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to move quickly and, most importantly, silently, evading its hungry pursuers. In Africa, the largest antelope species, the eland, can be found. An adult male of this species can reach a height of 183 centimeters and weigh over 1,000 kilograms. The horns of the eland are very impressive, measuring over a meter in length. They are quite large, to say the least. Among the smaller antelope, there is a dwarf species called the royal antelope, found in the tropical forests of West Africa. It is truly tiny, measuring no more than 25 centimeters in height and weighing less than 3 kilograms. It's almost more the size of a rabbit. The coloration of antelope is also quite diverse. Most often it consists of shades of brown and gray. Some individuals have lighter dark spots on their faces or throughout their bodies. For some species, there is sexual dimorphism, which means there are anatomical differences in the structure and coloration of the male and female skins. For example, male sable antelope have intensely black skin with a whitish belly, while the females have chestnut-colored skin. Addax antelopes are capable of changing the color of their skin from gray-brown in winter to light beige in summer. This is an example of a unique climate control of the animal's body temperature provided by nature. Nature has also taken care of antelope living in closed forest environments. Camouflage plays a vital role in the animal world. Without it, the risk of becoming someone's meal increases several times. The reddish fur of the bongo, the largest forest antelope, makes it almost invisible in twilight, and the white vertical stripes on its chest can completely distort the animal's true shape in the eye of a potential predator. The skin of the majority of antelopes is thick and tough, and the length of their fur between 2 and 3 centimeters. Only those antelope that inhabit colder ecosystems in Mongolia and China have a characteristic soft coat on their skin. Antelope, like all herbivores, have excellent stereoscopic vision. Their almond-shaped eyes are located on both sides of their head, providing them with a wide field of vision. The pronghorn antelope, a North American species, has truly unique vision. Its large eyes are more than just eyes. They're powerful binoculars. That's right. It's been discovered that the pronghorn antelope can see as if it's looking through lenses with 8-fold magnification. That's a true marvel of nature. Interestingly, herbivores, including antelope, unlike predators, have excellent color vision. This helps the animals accurately determine the nutritional properties of vegetation. It should be noted that under no circumstances will any antelope even glance at a yellow withered stem. They choose only the green ones. However, these animals have a significant drawback. Antelope are helpless in the absence of light, especially at night. When the sun goes down, they can't see much at all. Unfortunately, this leaves the antelope in much danger, as it can't spot the cunning predator in the darkness. Adult males of many antelope species have a short mane on their necks and a similar mane that grows along the spine. And to appear more imposing, they often have a thick beard. You can immediately recognize a wildebeest by such features, don't you agree? Animal tails are usually short and end with a tuft of stiff hairs resembling a comical brush. Local inhabitants of the African continent amusingly call antelope tails fly swatters. However, despite the differences among the 100 species of antelope, they share one thing in common. They all possess lightning-fast reactions, speed, and the ability to escape instantly at the slightest sign of danger. It must be said that the swift legs of these animals are perhaps the only way to leave the pursuer with nothing. And in the wild, there is no shortage of predators eager to feast on antelope. In the African savannas, antelope are hunted by lions, crocodiles, hyenas, leopards, wild dogs, cheetahs, jackals, and foxes. In the Asian and Arabian steppes, there are also wolves. Experienced predators often hunt at night, knowing the helplessness of antelopes in the darkness. During daylight hours, the chances for formidable hunters to catch a tasty prey are much lower. Antelope are extremely alert and instantly sense danger, and when they detect a predator, they will sprint away at full speed, zigzagging in such a way it can make the pursuer's head spin. By the way, wildebeests, gnus, and Thomson's gazelles are among the fastest animals on the planet. However, a large number of unfortunate antelope perish in the jaws of crocodiles while drinking or crossing rivers. And for smaller animals of this species, such as dik-diks, danger lurks even from the air. Predatory falcons, vultures, and eagles keenly scan for prey from above, and releasing their sharp talons, swoop down like a stone on the defenseless victim. There is nothing we can do about that. The laws of nature can be harsh. All animals that live in their natural habitat, especially those that live in groups, generally have well-developed social and communicative behavior. We can't help but wonder, how does it all work for them? Moreover, some antelope species have learned to demonstrate very impressive behavioral traits. Researchers have decided to call it stotting. So, during this stotting, the animal leaps high, keeping its legs still, arches its back, and sharply lowers its head towards the ground. For example, a royal antelope can jump up to 2.5 meters. Can you imagine? There are several theories trying to explain such behavior. The most common one suggests that antelope are supposedly warning predators that it will be very difficult for them to catch their meal. Anything is possible. I don't claim to be an expert, but it seems to me that antelope like teasing their predators. It would be really interesting if the same researchers could explain the following. Canoe antelopes sometimes exhibit peculiar, and I would say very strange behavior. They could be peacefully grazing and then suddenly, without apparent reason, start jumping in place, aggressively shaking their heads and kicking. After a short while, these ritual dances abruptly stop, and the antelope continue peacefully nibbling on grass as if nothing happened. The reasons for such fits in the antelope have yet to be convincingly explained. All attempts to do so have somewhat dubious assumptions. Antelope recognize each other just like other animals with a pronounced social organization. Antelope are generally peaceful and do not aggressively try to exclude smaller herbivores from their territory. Moreover, they actively avoid fights. Alpha males in a herd, when unexpectedly encountering an adversary, communicate by sending signals about their age and mood solely through the size of their horns. Opponents soberly assess their strengths, and the weaker one obediently has to leave the territory of the stronger one. In case of disagreement, antelope of course resort to their weapons, horns, and hooves. Male and female antelope have scent glands located in the area of their supraorbital arches, appropriately called preorbital glands. The animals deliberately touch branches, grass, and rocks with these glands, and sometimes even smear each other with their secretions. Such scent glands are also present on the knee joints of antelope and between their split hooves. It should be noted that each individual has a unique scent, so to speak, personalized. However, antelope are not fortunate when it comes to their vocal abilities. They have a nasal quality and produce short sounds in the middle register that resemble the lowing of a cow, although antelope do it slightly shorter and more guttural. Well, not everyone in nature is gifted with a singing voice like a nightingale. When it comes to the cognitive abilities of antelope, research has been limited, and in most cases, inconclusive. If it were otherwise, we would have been the first to know about it. It should be noted that attempts to tame and domesticate certain species have been futile. All antelope are extremely timid and, moreover, can jump over fences quite easily. In captivity, in zoos and wildlife parks, antelope feel quite comfortable. No wonder. They don't have to exert energy in search of food, and there are no predators around. And those that do exist are securely locked in cages and pose no danger whatsoever. Nearly all antelope species are herbivores. They gladly graze on green grass almost down to the ground, and those who live in wooded areas enjoy feasting on leaves, succulent trees and bush shoots, flowers, and small clusters of berries. However, there are known instances where certain subspecies of duikers, for example, have shown a willingness to taste insects, birds, and even small mammals. Antelope are ruminant animals with a four-chambered stomach. This anatomical feature allows them to quickly swallow food and later regurgitate it for thorough chewing. In other words, antelope spend a significant portion of their lives chewing. Thirst drives every living creature on the planet to seek a life-giving source of water, and antelope are no exception. When approaching water, they maintain their innate vigilance, drinking plentifully and swiftly, all the while attentively surveying their surroundings. If there is no immediate threat from omnipresent predators at the watering hole, antelope play like children, and they may even wallow in mud, allowing themselves a bit of entertainment. There is no more unusual and mysterious phenomenon on planet Earth than the one observed on the African continent. It is the migration of animals. Some species of antelope also participate in this amazing natural journey. You don't have to be an experienced researcher to explain its cause. The answer is quite evident. The animals migrate in search of food. They are driven solely by hunger. The migratory procession, seen from a bird's eye view, is mesmerizing. Huge herds, numbering in the thousands and even millions, persistently traverse long distances only to return with the same precision. The journey is dangerous and extremely exhausting, yet nothing and no one can halt the call when the time comes. For example, the Great Migration of Wildebeest takes place from Tanzania to Kenya in East Africa, and then the arduous journey back. These intelligent animals probably sense ozone and unerring travel in the wake of rain clouds. Where the rains pass, there will be vegetation. The Mara River serves as the peak point of migration on the African continent. It's astonishing that the animals always forded at the same location. Who taught them this? Such a long-distance journey may seem incomprehensible at first glance, but it occurs for one purpose only: to feast on fresh and abundant grass. Herbivorous antelope cannot survive in arid areas. There will be a severe shortage of food there. That is why antelope are constantly forced to seek new grazing grounds. Even an ordinary school student with the framework of the educational curriculum is well aware of the African Serengeti Reserve from their biology textbook. Somewhere around mid-July, a tremendous number of antelope and other ungulates begin their movement from there, hoping to find other territories that are likely richer in food. There, it should be enough for everyone. And after some time, the brave and persistent animals return. The journey mercilessly claims the weak and sick, while those inadvertently separated from the herd become easy prey for predators. The antelope will get very little sleep. For many days and nights, they will only doze off occasionally, standing or lying down, propping up their tired legs. But at the slightest sign of danger, these animals will instantly wake and flee with all of their remaining strength. Resourceful Thompson's antelopes during a powerful migration diligently follow the reliable guide in both directions of the migration, behind the exhausted wildebeest and zebras, not hesitating to pick up the scraps they leave behind. Species of antelope that inhabit closed forested areas, wetlands, and marshy pastures generally do not embark on the challenging and dangerous migratory journey. Among such species are the Sitatunga antelope, Congoni, Duikers, Nyalas, greater and lesser kudu, and others. However, in the pages of naturalist journals in 2019, there was some information about a large migration of local antelope observed from the Mongolian forest belts, which had never been seen before. Researchers unanimously claim that such an anomalous phenomenon is caused by human intervention in the animal's habit. What do you think? That's right, humans. Unfortunately, 25 species of antelope are already included in the sad list of animals that are under the threat of extinction. From lions, hyenas, and crocodiles, an antelope can escape, although it won't be easy. But from a human with a gun, never. It's humans who destroy far more wildlife than all predators combined. Hunters boast to each other about the accuracy of their shots without any remorse, while the rest doesn't matter to them and is therefore not discussed. Two-legged predators carry trophies in their bags. In those bags lie bloodied antelope horns and skins. What can we say? It's not a very healthy satisfaction of a sick ego. Hunting antelope is prohibited in almost all countries around the world. However, poachers, influenced by nonsense about the medicinal properties of certain antelope products, continue their criminal shooting of these animals, mercilessly cutting off their horns. In the Central Asian region, India and Mongolia, for example, the scale of poaching is staggering. There are no convincing scientific justifications or practices that unequivocally prove the effectiveness of pharmacological preparations based on the horns of hoofed animals, but there is barbaric destruction of beautiful animals. Due to human activities, that is, ourselves included, the habitats of some antelope species have significantly decreased. Water pollution, relentless urbanization, and the expansion of agricultural lands are catastrophically displacing animals from their natural environment. We often praise the 21st century for its incredible achievements, advanced scientific thought, and cutting-edge technologies. And we should be pleased with that. However, it's still too early to be proud of our respectful attitude towards each other and towards nature, isn't it? Then how do we explain the numerous offers to participate in nighttime safaris with state-of-the-art rifles and even riding on fully equipped off-road vehicles? The internet is filled with such disgraceful invitations to bloody entertainment. Doubtful? See for yourself. It's not difficult. And what's really astonishing is the huge number of people willing to participate. Yes, on the African continent, many species of antelope have been preserved. Today, the wildebeest antelope can be found not only in protected reserves and parks. In the vast savannas of Tanzania, Kenya, Botswana, Angola, there are no fewer than 1.5 million of these animals. But that does not mean it will always be so. All recklessness starts with the words, one more, one less. The species diversity of antelope is catastrophically diminishing, like ice cream under the sun. To this day, 14 species of these beautiful animals have become completely extinct. So, if you decide to embark on an exciting journey to enjoy the beauty of the wild nature, instead of weapons, take with you your good mood, your best friends, and a camera. International nature conservation and protection communities are sounding the alarm, but the available tools to stop this process are clearly insufficient. Red books of many countries and continents grow thicker each year with new pages, and this sad library continues to steadily expand. It is very encouraging that the Serengeti National Park in Tanzania is an important protected area, at least in Africa. Moreover, this park is adjacent to the Masai Mara Reserve, where animals migrate annually. Here, genuine efforts are made to either increase or at least not decrease the population of hoofed animals, including antelope. Carefully, but not confidently, it can be said that the population of the wildebeest is beyond critical numbers. In this regard, it's worth noting the successful experience of China, where Tibetan antelope, a high-altitude species, inhabit the ecosystem. Over the past decades, the Chinese authorities, together with nature conservation organizations in the country, have been actively protecting these animals from the criminal activities of poachers, and they do so aggressively. The penalties include 10 to 15 years of imprisonment. The Tibetan National Park in China is strictly patrolled around the clock. Experienced specialists, a large number of volunteers, and caring citizens have established so-called protection stations among the migration routes of Tibetan antelope. Veterinarians with practical experience in working with wild animals are also on duty at these stations, ready to provide assistance to injured and sick antelope, while orphaned calves are sent to specialized wildlife care centers. This is precisely the case when people, through their simple efforts, not just in words but in action, stand up for the protection of animals in nature. Genuine actions are always simple and not loud. The antelope has been associated with incredible grace, which gives it a special elegant charm. Moreover, it is fast, has sharp vision, and can only evoke sympathy. It's not surprising at all that humans have long accumulated its best qualities, thereby paying sincere respect to the animal. It's well known that ancient Egyptian beliefs attributed endearing definitions to the antelope, and its status among animals was among the highest. The Egyptians, it must be said, knew how to appreciate natural aesthetic tastes. Rock paintings that have survived to this day demonstrate exceptional reverence for the antelope. In Asian and European folklore and literary epics, the antelope is often compared to the moon or the Great Mother. It is noteworthy that the South African Bushmen still consider the antelope as the embodiment of the supreme being, Kagan, the main deity of their religion, who endows people with the knowledge necessary for successful agriculture. Even in the distant Middle Ages, the antelope was so depicted on the coat of arms of European kingdoms and major cities. During those times, the stylization of the antelope symbolized agility, courage, and readiness to withstand cunning enemies. Interestingly, the relief depiction of an antelope was on the personal emblem of King Henry V of England, a fearless military leader and hero of the 100 Years' War. Even now, the antelope, as a powerful spiritual talisman, adorns the coat of arms of Uganda and Zimbabwe. The main symbol of Angolan statehood is also the antelope. Its image adorns Angolan banknotes, the logo of the national airline, and is also present on the flag of the Angolan national football team. For millennia, Indian philosophical thought has been inseparable from the cult of animals. Perhaps many are aware of the extremely reverent attitude of Hindus towards cows. They are sacred to them. This attitude is also widespread towards tigers, elephants, snakes, and of course, antelope. For Hindus, this animal is the embodiment of life wisdom that always helps when is necessary to protect good against evil, even at the cost of tremendous effort. Many may remember the poignant animated film The Golden Antelope, where golden coins scattered in all directions from under its hooves. By the way, the plot of the cartoon is based on an ancient Indian legend that teaches us to choose mercy, the protection of the weak, and to help others as life priorities. Back at the beginning of our introduction to antelope, we briefly remembered Simba, the main character of the animated film The Lion King. It should be noted that Disney took a very responsible approach to the selection of characters in this incredible epic, among which our heroes, the antelope, are depicted in an unsurpassed manner and in all of their beauty. Talented animators managed to portray the life of these unique animals in the best possible way, from birth to death, when it is time for the antelope to fly high in the heavenly herd, to those very rain clouds that bring life-affirming rain to all beings on earth. Observing the lives of animals in the wild is the most endearing and enlightening experience you'll ever have. It is during those moments you begin to contemplate their astonishing beauty, strength, and majesty, and realize that our human wisdom is powerless in the face of the simplicity of animals. Yes, the laws of the wild nature are their own, but animals in any case abide by them. We sincerely hope that we were able to catch a glimpse, even if just out of the corner of our eye, into the lives of such magnificent creatures as antelope. Friends, during our filming, the animals did not suffer. They only amazed us once again by kindly allowing us to share their best qualities.